and it starts off, there is gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it. Here we go. I wish I could say acquiring wealth was easy for me, but it wasn't. So in response to the question, how do I start? I offer the thought process I go through on a day-to-day basis. It really is easy to find great deals. I promise you that. It's just like riding a bike. After a little wobbling, it's a piece of cake. But when it comes to money, it takes determination to get through the wobbling. That's a personal thing. Okay, so hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Just shift the computer a little bit. And this is probably the last time we can read Rich Dad Poor Dad. We've read a lot of it, and I think we've already done a little bit more than the 60%. So we're going to do chapter 8, which is called Getting Started, and probably the most important chapter that you could imagine. And it starts off, there is gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it. Here we go. I wish I could say acquiring wealth was easy for me, but it wasn't. So in response to the question, how do I start? I offer the thought process I go through on a day-to-day basis. It really is easy to find great deals. I promise you that. It's just like riding a bike. After a little wobbling, it's a piece of cake. But when it comes to money, it takes determination to get through the wobbling. That's a personal thing. And this is absolutely true. There are plenty of people who give up before they get to the point where they've actually learned the lessons. So when I was younger, I was always curious. I would ask people, how did you do this? How did you do this? And when I was younger, I learned to flick my pen like this. And I remember being in high school and I saw somebody do it and I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. So I went to them and I asked them to teach me. And I was very persistent. They didn't want to teach me. They didn't want to teach me. I wasn't one of the most popular kids in school. So they didn't want to teach me. And I kept going and I kept going and I kept asking. And finally they thought, oh, fine, I will teach you. And so they started to teach me. And I think I had to make an exchange of something for them. They wanted something in exchange for being able to teach me. And so I gave them what they wanted. I think it was a different kind of pen, like one of those pens with 4 colors or something. So I gave them the pen and they started to teach me. And I sat in class and I would practice and it would fall on the floor and it would fall on the floor. And I remember I'd be in class and the teacher would be annoyed because I dropped my pen 100 times and I'd bend down, pick it back up, and I'd keep going and I'd keep going and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced until I was able to, 1, flick the pen, 2, I learned a second method of flicking the pen, and then I created my own method of flicking the pen. And this is the absolute key. First, you need to find out what it is that you want to achieve. You need to go out and find the way to do it. And it might be through somebody else. It might be studying a book. It might be going out and doing trial and error by yourself. But you have to have the desire to really want it. You need to know why you want it. I wanted to flick that pen because I wanted to look cool. I thought that it would make me really interesting to other people. I thought that it would show my dexterity and how smart I was and how good I was. And so I was always looking for interesting things to be able to show off a little bit. I don't know. That was just who I was, and I am not going to be apologetic for it. But I learned to flick the pen, and then I practiced, and I practiced, and I practiced, and I didn't give up. And it didn't bother me that it fell on the floor. It didn't bother me that the teacher was upset with me because I knew what my goal was. And my goal was to learn to flick that pen. And so I just kept at it, kept at it, kept at it, and kept at it. And I didn't let anything discourage me. Not even, well, I didn't really get in trouble with teachers because I was a very good student and I was always teacher's pet. So I could do things that other people couldn't do, so I wouldn't get in trouble for it. But at some stage, I did get in trouble, like, Menno, can you stop doing that? You're annoying the class. And so I'd just be a little bit more careful with my flicking, but I would continue because I knew what my goal was. I knew what I wanted. And so I kept practicing and practicing. I had the same with juggling. We had to learn to juggle in year 9. And again, I went home and unlike a lot of the other students, I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced until I was able to juggle. But very often we don't do the same with finances. When it comes to money, and there's a reason for this. Juggling, some people believe they can do it, some people don't. But obviously, if you think of it, juggling doesn't have a negative connotation. Flicking your pen does not have a negative connotation. People don't mind if they can flick a pen or not, because flicking the pen does not make you come across as a bad person, or it doesn't make you greedy, or it doesn't make you negative in any way. Whereas working on and acquiring finances is often being programmed into our minds to be something negative. So we need to deprogram that in order to be able to have that determination to keep going with making money. So if you have a negative thought around money, if you believe money is the root of all evil, if you think money is something bad, if you think rich people are all crooks or bad people, then of course it's going to be difficult to reach that goal, even with a strong why, and you need to do some work around letting go of that. So when it comes to getting started, what is really important is to have that determination and to want to keep going. As Robert Kiyosaki says, it's like riding the bike and wobbling for a little bit, but getting through that wobbling. That wobbling can take a little bit of time. And if you don't have somebody that can help you with the psychological aspects, the background aspects of actually being accepting of yourself, being allowed to make more money, because we all have our thermostat and it only goes so high. We have to readjust that thermostat so that we are allowed, we're giving ourselves permission to go higher. And this is why I'm doing this course with these two girls at the moment. And I've got another two that are signing up this week, actually, which is really exciting. So now I've got 4 children that want to learn how to deprogram themselves and get the right mindset and actually learn how finance works. And they are going to be able to implement all of these amazing things. And if I get enough interest from everybody who is watching, we might make one for you as well. So that is something that I'd love to do. But you need to get past that in order to be able to then practice in a way that you are going to have it as second nature. And then it becomes relatively easy compared to when you're allowing your mindset to hold you back, your beliefs to hold you back, and your lack of practice to hold you back. But you can't also just practice and not have the right mindset and not look at money in a negative way, because if you do that, then it's going to be extremely difficult for you to be able to continue and get the practice that you need. So yes, similar to flicking a pen, and see if you can use that in your life to be able to create the change that you would like to create. To find $1 million deals of a lifetime requires us to call on our financial genius. I believe that each of us has a financial genius within us. So we're all able to tap into our instinct to be able to create resources. Because as cave people, we obviously needed to find food, we needed to find resources in order to attract mates, in order to be able to survive, in order to be able to do all of these different things. So the resources have changed, and our connotation of those resources have changed. So in Australia, we have something called tall poppy syndrome, and we don't like people who achieve more than us, and we tend to put them down in order to bring them back to our level. And this is just a cultural thing. So you need to be able to let go of that so that you can focus on and achieve the things that you really want to. But that instinct is still within us. And technically, we know what we need to do, but we sabotage ourselves. And so we need to let go of, and we need to work on that mindset. We need to work on our beliefs in order to be able to then achieve the great outcome that we deserve. And I'm doing a lot of work on creating those strategies to be able to help people to avoid that mindset holding them back, to avoid those beliefs holding them back. And I would love to see more people achieve greater success. So I am constantly studying and learning about the mindset and the beliefs and shifting them in order to be able to get past those challenges. It lies asleep because our culture has educated us into believing that the love of money is the root of all evil. It has encouraged us to learn a profession so we can work for money, but failed to teach us how to have money work for us. It taught us not to worry about our financial future because our company or the government would take care of us when our working days are over. Probably not going to be the way it used to be, because things are changing very quickly. However, it is our children educated in the same school system who will end up paying for this absence of financial education. The message is still to work hard, earn money, and spend it. And when we run short, we can always borrow more. Unfortunately, 90% of the Western world subscribes to the above dogma simply because it's easier to find a job and work for money. If you are not one of the masses, if I offer you the following 10 steps to awaken your financial genius, I simply offer you the steps I have personally followed. If you want to follow some of them, great. If you don't, make up your own. Your financial genius is smart enough to develop its own list. While in Peru, I asked a gold miner of 45 years how he was so confident about finding a gold mine. He replied, "There is gold everywhere. Most people are not trained to see it." That is extremely true. I was talking to somebody yesterday about the fact that there are opportunities everywhere. And if you chase too many at the same time, then you're not going to have the focus and it's not going to work because you're doing too many things at once. And I remember for the first time when one of my mentors got me to take a step back and just look around me. And as I did that, I slowed down and I could actually see what was going on around me. Because usually we're in the hustle and bustle and we can't see anything because we're just so busy running with everything. But when you stop, you can actually see the herd running past you. You can see what's going on. And you can actually see that there are lots of opportunities. You can see who is making money, where they're making money from, and how they're making their money. And so you can then decide what you're going to do, as opposed to what also happens in business a lot, or also in investing, where a lot of people will just jump on the bandwagon of something. So they will invest in stocks in a particular way, or they will start a particular kind of business because they have the expertise around that business. And very often it will be a business that is low price. So they will be fighting to the bitter end in order to be able to get as many clients as possible at a very small margin. Whereas if you just change the business model, or if you change the business itself, you might be working with other clients doing other things that make a lot more money. Or you might do the same thing, but create a value-added product that has extreme value. And you can charge a premium price. And no matter what life throws at you, you are able to survive a lot easier than the companies where the business owners are going crazy, pulling out their hair. They don't have enough money to pay for staff. They are always stressed and always desperate for clients. So there's two different mentalities to how you do things. There are opportunities everywhere. So you don't have to jump on the first thing you find. You can experiment with a couple of different things. There is no rush in life. And if you can do that, then the world is your oyster and there are plenty of opportunities for everybody. And that's part of a good belief system, when you believe that there is enough for everybody. You think that there are certain people who are hoarding. Interestingly, the billionaires don't really have billions of dollars because the billionaires only create that wealth through stock market offerings. So a lot of their wealth, they can't touch it unless they sell the shares. If they sell all the shares, then the stock price goes down and what they have left becomes worth very little. So billionaires do not have the ability to write a $1 billion check. They actually need to sell shares to be able to do that. And their value goes up and down based on the stock price, but not because they actually physically have that money. It's really, really fascinating. And if you can let go of the old belief that these billionaires actually have billions, then you start to realize that a lot of that is fake and just to be able to boost the ego of the very, very wealthy. But having financial freedom to be able to pay all of your bills and to be able to travel the world and not have billions is probably more freeing and more power for you than if you have billions and you have to work hard and you're still always stressed about these billions and when the stock price goes up or when the stock price goes down. For example, a couple of days ago, Facebook had some issues and the market cap valuation went down by 200 billion. And Mark Zuckerberg's personal fortune went down by 29 billion, even though he didn't really lose money because they're all in stocks. So it's just a change in valuation, but not in the actual amount of cash that he has access to. Wow, we're going very deep today, aren't we? Unbelievable. So there are opportunities everywhere. And I would say that is true. In real estate, I can go out and in a day come up with 4 or 5 great potential deals, while the average person will go out and find nothing, even looking in the same neighborhood. The reason is that they have not taken the time to develop a financial genius. Let's have a look. What is the time? It's already 8:15. So I thought that we'd do a lot more of this chapter, but we went very deep and had a look at some very interesting things to help you get started on that process to implementing what Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about. So we only read about one page, but hopefully you got a lot from those commentary, that commentary that I gave you with some examples from real life in how you can get started and change what you need to change in order to make the process easier. So I have an Instagram account also, which is called Free Flow Menno, because it's all about being able to flow freely and do things effortlessly and easily. So again, once you know the strategies, then you are able to invest in a completely different way. If you are investing and you have to compete with everybody else for a property, then the market price goes up and you are buying it at a relatively high cost. If you have connections with real estate agents, if you have friends who are real estate agents, then you might be able to get access to deals before they go onto the market. You might be able to get something at a lower price. And this is where the advantage lies. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about the connections that you have. It's about the knowledge that you have. It's about who you've learned from and who can give you information on a way to do things differently that is going to give you an advantage, that's going to make it easier. If you can do this, then you are going to be a big step ahead of everybody else. So we're going to leave it at that for today. I'm very curious to hear what you thought of that. If you would like to start from the beginning, and if you'd like to see more of these videos with my commentary and ideas and strategies for implementing Rich Dad Poor Dad, then you can go to YouTube and you'll find us at The Passive Cash Flow Club. And you are most welcome to watch all of those videos. They are all up there. And I'd love for you to subscribe. We have some other videos coming up. I've recently made one on credit cards and whether you should get one or not and why the experts disagree. We've got a couple of other fun ones that are going up, and we have some more informational ones. And I'd love to hear from you. What kind of topics would you like me to discuss? What kind of challenges do you have around your investing or getting started or seeing how you can get better results from your investing? So feel free to go to the Passive Cash Flow Club, leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know what challenges you have so we can make videos around those. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, and I also run the Cash Flow Club. So if you would like to play cash flow, and we have an online version which is even more realistic. It has realistic taxes. We are working on some really exciting things with the stock market. It has more realistic scenarios with regards to when you lose your job and all of those different kinds of things. So it will give you a real simulator feeling for life. So you can test out more strategies than you can just playing the game normally. Then get in touch through Instagram and we will let you know how you can join us. It is extremely good for being able to change that mindset that we were talking about and shift those beliefs so that you can start creating more wealth in real life and get past some of those challenges that you might have and some of that sabotage that you might have. So feel free to reach out on Instagram. You can find me at business_team_6_official. And I would love to hear from you. Feel free to let me know what kind of challenges you have, and we can make videos around those. Feel free to let me know that you'd like to come to Cashflow, and I'll get my VA, my virtual assistant, to send you the details on how you can come and join us. And I would also love to just hear from you and reach out and get in touch with more of you and get to know you and see what I can do to assist you this year, because I believe everybody deserves to have an amazing, financially secure life. And there is no reason for anybody to be left behind. Wealth is one of those things that there is abundance for everybody. If you've ever had a look at how many trillions of dollars are floating around the world, you would be amazed. And there is literally plenty for everybody. And the billionaires aren't really billionaires, so they're not hoarding and holding on to it. It's just valuation on paper that goes up and down. So there is no need to worry about that. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'm going to leave you to have an absolutely amazing day. I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me. and I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another reading. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon.